Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome to the MarkZDrumcast. You like that, right? I am your host, Mark Zapata. I am the owner and founder of MarkZDrums, as well as the host of the MarkZDrumcast on YouTube, which can be seen on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the most part. And welcome to this beautiful Wednesday morning, afternoon. I really don't know what time it is yet because I've been playing drums for a while. When I was deciding what to talk about for this show, you always get what's going on in my life, right? Whether it's what just happened at rehearsal, or what I'm working on now, or what I'm trying to do, whatever it is, that's what you're going to get here at the MarkZDrumcast. So let me just make sure that we are good to go. That is what you get on the MarkZDrumcast. You know what? I think that this could be... I remember the last show feeling like the mic was a little hot. And I don't want a hot mic now. All right, so anyway... So what you're going to get is what I've been working on recently, because there's some stuff that I have coming up, is really my double bass chops and working on my feet, my coordination, my stamina and endurance, my speed, and things like that. So what I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to give you some just a basic idea of me warming up and me working on getting my blood flowing, getting the muscles warm with my feet. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about laterality. I'm going to talk a little bit about how uneven we are and some of the reasons why. So stick with the video, so by the end you will understand how can we get better with our weaker side, right? With our less dominant side, with our slower side, our less coordinated side. This is a video that is kind of a precursor to my laterality video that I'm in production with right now. So sit back and relax, listen to the video. I'm going to turn on the chat. If you have any questions or any thoughts that you want to add to the chat, please feel free. Come on and join and say hello. It's all good. And again, as always, we're always working on some new stuff here at MarkZDrums, at MarkZDrums Studios. Louis is on vacation, and a very well-deserved vacation. He's been working hard. And so let's get right to it. I'm going to just turn off my mic. I'm going to turn on the drums, and then I want to just give you a little idea of what I like to do when I first sit down and I want to start working on some double bass. So I went through some double bass triplets using my ride as time, my snare drum as time, moving back and forth between bass on 1, snare on 2, bass on 3, snare on 4, 2, bass on 1, snare on 3, stretching out the feel of the beat a little bit. And then I went into 16th note bass drum patterns, which I'm not I'm not such a big fan of. My favorite are the triplet bass drum patterns underneath, but it doesn't work for everything. But that is my preference. So when we are doing stuff like that, it is good to keep time. It's also good to keep watch of that snare drum, where that snare drum falls in relation to the bass drums you're playing during that beat. We really want to make sure that that snare drum hits in the right spot, that it's not late or early, because then it makes the whole thing sound off. What I also like to do is put on some music and use that for time and mess around with different patterns on my double bass. So let's try different stuff on the bass drums. So exercises like that can help to develop creativity. I don't know if you saw I felt like I was making some real thinky faces, you know, like I'm thinking about stuff. But the more tools you have, in other words, the more different rhythms you can play with your feet, the more intricate, cool sounding, challenging, and fun beats you can end up creating. We've been talking a lot about this lately. It's about bringing our technical ability up in order to raise our creativity. The more tools we have, the more things we can build. The more materials we have, the more things we can build. The bigger our vocabulary. You might hear this a lot in drumming. Vocabulary. The more vocabulary we have, the more creative we can be, the more eloquent we can speak through our instrument. So that's kind of been the theme. And so I want to go through some ideas about not only our feet, but our hands as well. When we are talking about laterality, it's really in reference to how or what is our dominant side. What is our dominant hand? Which hand do we use the most? Are we ambidextrous? Do we use both hands equally in everyday life? Do we use one hand for certain tasks and another hand for other tasks? There's only a couple of things I do with my left hand. I write, and everything else I do right-handed, whether it's swinging a baseball bat, a tennis racket, a golf club, throwing a football. It's all right-handed, but I write with my left hand. And no, I eat, right? The fork is in my right hand. I'm cutting with the left hand. Yeah, so that's one of those things that we need to consider when we're playing drums. What is our most dominant foot? Because that's important as well. When we talk about laterality, it's not just about hands, it's about feet. Do we play soccer or kickball or something like that, which foot do we use to kick the ball? Do we kick with both feet equally? I tend to think if I'm a right-footed person, I want my bass drum to be on the right side. I want my drum set to be set up traditionally. Now, that's a totally different discussion, which we will talk about. Well, I don't know how different it is, but we'll talk about this, or I will talk about this in my laterality video when it comes to learning. For any teachers out there who have students that come in for the first time, one of the first things I ask them is, what hand do you write with in school? Do you play sports? What hand do you throw a ball with? What foot do you kick a ball with? And based on those answers, we talk about how we would set them up on the drum set. And I don't know what you guys think about this, if this is quote unquote right or wrong. My philosophy is this: I write with my left hand, but I grew up playing drums right-handed. One of the things that I used to see a lot years ago when I started teaching, which I don't see much anymore, I'm not sure why this is, but there were a few students that came in that were left-handed. So because of that, and I guess left-footed also, because of that, before a lesson, I would switch the entire drum set around, moving the bass drum over, the snare drum over this way, the hi-hat over to this side, the floor toms over to this side, and then, depending on the rack tom configuration, might have to change those as well. Put the ride over on the other side. And I don't know about that, I don't know that I would encourage any of my students to play left-handed. Unfortunately, it is a right-handed world. I play a lot of shows out, and I play on a lot of house kits, and they're all set up right-handed. Go into any music store, drum kits are set up right-handed. Go into any music school. Like I have, my 2 music schools have multiple rooms with multiple drum sets all throughout the school, all right-handed drum kits. It's really, really up to the student, but if I was asked my opinion, I would say go right-handed. The foot part, we can learn, okay? I don't really believe that, it's not like if I tried to write an essay or a letter right-handed, it would be unreadable. It would be atrocious. It wouldn't even look like a child wrote it out with crayons. That's how I cannot write with my right hand, because I've been writing with my left hand my whole life. But if you're coming in as a new student and you have not been playing drums your whole life, then it may be easy to pick a side, pick a left foot or a right foot for your bass drum, and then play whatever style with your hands you want. Rather than switching the whole drum set around, there may be other ways to do it. So I can teach a student to work with their right foot on a bass drum if they kick a soccer ball with their left foot. They may feel uncomfortable, but in the end, I think it's a good idea, because then you will have both feet. You'll be using your left foot in life, you'll be playing with your right foot on drums, and then maybe you could develop that balance between the right foot and the left foot being kind of close to equal as far as coordination, speed, and power. As far as our hands, there is an open style of playing where if you're playing with your right hand on your hi-hat, you can play with your left hand on the hi-hat. That opens your right hand up to the whole rest of the drum kit without having to go underneath, uncross, come over the top. Now you're here, everything is open to you, and some drummers prefer that. I have a lot of my students that come in, whether they're left-handed or right-handed, sometimes they prefer to play the hi-hat with their left hand. I give them the option. I try to show them the right hand and then we do little experiments here and there, which feels better. And then I have them do different things with each hand, because if we're playing predominantly left hand on a hi-hat, with the exception of putting your ride cymbal over here, which is a valid option, you know, I would prefer you played hi-hat with your left hand and ride cymbal with your right hand. This way, again, you're getting some work in on your right hand when you're keeping time on your ride, and some work in with your left hand when you're keeping time on your hi-hat. I think that's a great way to develop a balance between your two hands and not have one hand doing all the work, the right hand, and the left hand doing very little. As far as my feet go, I mean, we've gone into this whole other area. When I started off talking about double bass and how to keep our feet balanced as far as strength, speed, coordination, and control. Because at times I used to feel like, well, I might as well put my left foot in a bucket of mud when I'm playing drums, because that's basically what it does. It just holds down my hi-hat, holds my hi-hat closed. And then I started to do exercises with my left foot, playing the hi-hat with my left foot, along with my right hand on the ride to keep time, and also just to get my left foot going. We've talked about this before. This will also be in the video. But think about something like this, right? A single stroke 4, which is the exercise that I want to focus on right now. The single stroke 4, which is 1 triplet and, 2 triplet and, 3 triplet and, 4 triplet and, just 3/16 notes in a triplet form in the first half of each beat, and then the 8th note on the and of each beat. And it sounds like this. I'll play it on the snare before I play it on the bass drum. It sounds like this. And then we want to do that exercise with our left hand, with the left hand leading. You can find this exercise at the Percussive Art Society's 40 International Drum Rudiments page. I'll leave a link in the description below the video, and you'll find 40 international drum rudiments. But this particular one is called a single stroke 4. It's under the stroke roll family, and it's one of the ones that does not naturally alternate. So we would start with our right hand, play that one for a while, then go back to the left hand and do a left-handed version for a while. And that's a figure I like to play on my double bass. Doing the triplet with my feet, and the 8th note at the end, or at the and point of each beat on my toms in a flam, or a single note on my snare drum around the drums like this. I like that triplet on the bass drum. It's really good for fills, it's good for beats, it's good for soloing, and it's good for making an odd figure with, let's say, 2 notes up top and the triplet down below, for a weird kind of 5-note figure to go through either a fill or a solo, something like that. The other thing I like to talk about is when we are doing, let's say, a figure of 16th notes where we are going to rest the of each beat, right? So we're playing 1 E end, 2 E end, 3 E end, 4 E end, which, by the way, is not a triplet. It's 3 notes together, yes, but triplets are 3 notes that are equally distanced apart, right? So you don't have a pause anywhere in that figure when you're doing a triplet. But when you're doing 1 E end, 2 E end, 3 E end, 4 E end, we're resting that quarter of a beat at the end. We're resting the so we do have that pause. That's how you can tell that it's not a triplet, but it's a 1EN, 2EN, 3EN, 4EN. Now, quickly, important about this exercise is that when we do this with our hands, we want to continue to alternate. We want to make sure we're alternating, because if we don't alternate, I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to actually switch cameras here, and here we go. You can see what I got going on here. So check this out. 1EN, 2EN, 3EN, 4EN. I'm going to do it the way some people like to do it because it's comfortable, doubling up on that right hand so that we're always leading with the right hand. And here it goes. You can see how many more strokes we're playing with the right hand than the left hand, right? And that's really not the best way to go. This is the best way to go. And this is going to apply to our double bass too, and I'll show you in a second when I play this figure with my feet. We're going to alternate right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. This way now, did you hear? Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you didn't hear my mic when I did it the first time. But anyway, you can see the difference. I'm playing an equal number of strokes with each hand as I alternate. If I'm sticking with the right hand, doubling up on the right hand, so I'm always leading with the right hand is getting way more work, and we don't want that. We want the left hand to get just as much work. We want to start to even out the balance between our right hand and our left hand. Same with the feet. Let me show you what I mean with my feet. I don't have a double bass cam yet, but I'm working on that. Maybe you can see in the overhead camera. Hold on a second. I'm going to try that again. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. We always want to do that because it's teaching our left foot and our left hand to lead, and it's keeping our left foot and our right foot equal as far as work goes. We want that workload to be equal so that we can start to bridge the gap between the strength, speed, and power coordination of our right hand, right foot, versus our left hand, left foot. I don't want to stick my left foot in a bucket of mud because my left foot has more to contribute than that. And when I'm playing double bass, I notice a disparity between my 2 feet. And one of the other ways I like to address that is to work with rock beats. And listen, my left foot is still, we're working on it, but my left foot is still not great when we're talking about regular beats with a left foot. I'm going to play just some regular rock beats with my left foot on the bass drum, just to get that extra work with my left foot. That is a great way to strengthen that left foot. Take some normal songs that you like to play them with your left foot on the bass drum, and see if you can do all of the same things with your left foot that you can normally do with your right foot. I personally cannot. Okay, some of the quicker right foot stuff that I can do, 16th note bass drum patterns with my right foot, not so much with my left foot. And that's something that needs to be worked on, right? That's something that needs to be focused on if we want to really kind of get that left foot going, especially with that coordination. I've noticed too many times trying to play a more intricate, faster 16th note bass drum pattern with my left foot that it's not there. The other thing to remember, left hand or left foot, you're only as fast as your weakest hand or your slowest hand or your slowest foot. You can only go as fast as that slower limb can go. Otherwise, it's going to be uneven. You're not going to be able to play evenly at a faster rate than your slowest limb can play. So think about that. When we want to increase our speed, we need to look at that weak link, so to speak, that hand that's not as fast as the other, and try to bring the speed up at least kind of close. I don't know if we're ever going to be like, hey, I'm going to get my left hand or left foot as fast or faster than my right hand. I'm sure it's possible. But with all the time that I've spent playing drums, one-sided, let's say, it's going to take a lot of work, but I'm working at it, right? So let me just welcome Jerry into the show. Let me just read through quick, because he's been active on the chat, and I've been talking and not reading his comments. Yes. Then you should. Yeah, yeah. Yes. That's true, right? That's one of the things that I watch. Yes. All right. And that's great, right? So Jerry's talking about actually timing his right foot and his left foot for BPM using a metronome, I'm sure, and testing yourself. That's a great point, right? That's like gamifying, right? The term gamify, where you turn your practice time, your work time into a game. I'm a big gamer, right? I'm a video game guy. So any way that I could figure out an achievement structure for what I'm trying to do, like in video games, you got to do these tasks and you get this prize. So that's a great thing. Make sure that you are using a metronome, and then write down the speeds of your right foot, of your left foot. How fast can you do double bass? What BPM? And then how fast can you do singles with your left foot as opposed to singles with your right foot? That's a great tip, Jerry. Singles with the hands too. You know, get that single stroke going with the right hand with the metronome. Get your BPM. Then try the left hand. See how much of a disparity there is. I'm going to do that actually. But that's really, really good stuff. So gamifying our practice time and trying to set short-term goals and achievements for ourselves like they do in games. How do you think they get people to play these games for so long? How do you think they get these younger people and even adults to almost kind of be addicted to their game? Because once they introduced the achievement system, which was years ago now, where a little thing would pop up on the screen, you would get that reward because you shot so many enemies or you used this weapon so many times, whatever the case may be, right? You would get that little reward and that would keep you going. Oh, just like mobile games, anything like that. Any kind of games where you have these little rewards popping up in front of your face because you did this or that, it's going to keep you playing. So I have a video called Gamify Your Fills, when I talk about how I've developed a couple of games that I play with my students that keeps them engaged and keeps them excited about learning fills and learning different things because I turn it into games for them. So yeah, check that video out on my YouTube page. But really, really great point. always make sure that you're alternating whatever exercises you're doing, and try to start to pay attention to one side of your body versus the other. All right, which one is faster, which one is stronger, which one is more coordinated, and which one do you feel more comfortable with playing certain things. This is really going to, as much as you can kind of strike that balance better, you're going to notice quite a difference in the things that you're able to do, especially if you're playing double bass. Because again, only as fast as your slowest side. So again, we'll talk more about laterality. That's really, really cool about what you were talking about, Jerry. But I'm going to start working on that, or I'm going to complete, hopefully soon, this laterality video, where we're really going to get in depth as to what it means, what it's all about, what we can do to help to be more balanced. And one more thing before I leave. No, let me see. We talked about that. We talked about dropping the bomb on a previous show. So I think I'll leave you with this. Work on your single stroke fours on the 40 international rudiments. Work on your single stroke fours and your single stroke sevens. A single stroke seven would be 1 triplet and triplet 2, 3 triplet and triplet 4, which is now 7 strokes. It gives you 16th note triplets in the one beat, and then a quarter note for the next beat, and then you repeat that. This particular exercise does automatically switch lead hands. So there's the difference between the single stroke 4 and the single stroke 7. Single stroke 4, you do one side, then you do the other side. Single stroke 7 naturally alternates. So we don't have to change anything that way. Also a good exercise to do with your double bass, if you're so inclined. But anyway, we'll talk more about that. I want to do more stuff about double bass. I'm going to talk about 16th, straight 16ths, and then resting different parts of that beat, 16th notes, and different combinations of 8th notes and 16th notes and things like that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget my Patreon, MarkZDrums at Patreon. Go to all my socials, like, subscribe, share, comment, follow, whatever you can do is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Take care, Jerry.